more people than ever before are feeling anxious, depressed, and sad. They can't see a positive outcome when looking ahead to the future of our cities, countries, or planet. Yes, the world is tough right now and getting harder for people, but if we don't take time to imagine a better future, it might never happen. So while Future Unfolded might be taking a more optimistic approach about the future, thanks to advancements in technology, I want you all to know that I see the difficulties that exist. I'm not blind to how difficult things are today. The stuff I cover here might not get the kind of attention that sensationalist negative news and post-apocalyptic fiction get, but I feel like the pendulum has swung too far from optimism. Hard changes only happen when we first take time to imagine something different. Growing up, I spent a ton of time watching Star Trek, especially Star Trek The Next Generation. Pristine uniforms on a ship that travels around a piece of the galaxy, with replicators, portable tablet computers, holodecks, the ability to nearly instantly heal most wounds, and so much more. It was inspiring to see how our human society could grow and change in potentially positive ways. And I've tried to keep hold of that in my overactive imagination. And we've seen bits and pieces of Star Trek technology make it into the real world. And while it might not be directly because of Star Trek, I believe that these examples from fiction help inspire us. Unfortunately, even most Star Trek today has taken a turn, and the technology that was once bright, clean, and welcoming now often seems gritty and dark. The people, while more realistic in some ways, have regressed to having many of the same social issues and personality limitations we experience today. It doesn't feel like it's trying to paint an optimistic portrait of the future any longer. I deal with depression and anxiety. I've been managing these mental health issues for more than 2 decades now. When I first started experiencing these issues, I often held out hope by the time I was an adult there would be a cure for what I was experiencing. When I took a moment in my late 20s to try to come to terms with the lack of any real cure and my continued ineffective treatments, I was sent on a bit of a spiral. In my 30s, I wanted to become more worldly, more aware of what was happening in our society, so I started reading, listening, and watching more news content. I involved myself in digging deep into political events and spent time researching topics like climate change and health. That experience threw me into a really dark place. The balance of positive to negative news was weighted so heavily towards sensationalized negative news that it started to become all I could really see or process. I had to scale back my intake of traditional news, instead turning towards specific curated news sources that fed me more positive or uplifting news. I couldn't completely get away from sensational or negative news, but adjusting the ratio helped me feel better. I met my wife sci-fi speed dating at Fan Expo in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Fan Expo is a Comic-Con style event, and we just happened to hit it off. One of the reasons I'm working on this channel is for her. As I would share what I've been learning, it would amp up her own societal, political, economic, and ecological anxieties. She would often turn to me and ask, "Where's the good?" We would turn on television shows like The Orville and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, glimpses into that more positive and happy fictionalized futures, and on days where we felt surrounded by negativity, we seek out positive news and share it with each other. Now I want to share that optimism with others, not because I don't see the issues we have today and the potential direction we are heading, but instead because I want us to try to change our course, even slightly. I want us to be dreamers. I hope to spark the imagination, and maybe by highlighting some positive change, some new technology, or by bringing attention to the positive fictional worlds, maybe it inspires someone to create their own work of fiction that puts a positive spin on our future, or maybe they actually create some positive change that helps us all. We have to dream, we need to feel hope, and we need to make space for potentially positive paths into the future. I hope you'll join me on that journey.